for tomorrow evening. It could be close, but President Bush has been told his men will win. Chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer begins our coverage.
Well, thank you. The senator is certainly supporting Judge Thomas. Senator Dole's office.
The calls jammed every switchboard on Capitol Hill, but it's down to the arithmetic now, and for the first time since a vote was postponed last Tuesday, Senate Republican leader Dole said Thomas would be confirmed.
When the vote's cast tomorrow, and it will be at 6 o'clock tomorrow, there'll be a lot of debate, but my view is that he'll be confirmed with a fairly comfortable margin.
Thomas needs 51 votes to be confirmed, and Dole expects 41 of the Senate's 43 Republicans to vote for Thomas. But confirmation rests on whether most of the 13 Democrats who came out for Thomas before Professor Hill's charges stick with him. And today, several of them, including Boren of Oklahoma, Dixon of Illinois, and Hollings of South Carolina, said they're reconsidering.
I've got a deep concern about the whole thing. It's tough. You got some very convincing witnesses on both sides.
But DeConcini of Arizona reiterated support for Thomas, as did Louisiana's Johnston, who said Professor Hill's allegations just didn't add up.
It's a question of who's telling the truth, and I simply believe that it was overwhelmingly in favor of Judge Thomas.
Whatever the outcome, Thomas's sponsor said something has to change.
No political agenda, however laudatory, justifies the destruction of a human being.
It is impossible at this point to say exactly what the vote is going to be, but Republican leader Dole seldom predicts victory unless he has the votes to back it up. And the public opinion polls are running strongly in Thomas's favor. So every sign here tonight is that Thomas is going to be confirmed after all. Dan.
Thanks, Bob. President Bush's attack strategy includes a pressure campaign on undecided senators. But Mr. Bush refused to say today whether he supports the attacks on Anita Hill's credibility and mental state. More about that from our White House correspondent, Susan Spencer. Susan, good evening.
Good evening, Dan. As we've said, the White House does feel it has the votes for Clarence Thomas. Nobody is very interested in criticism about how it got them. The critics' main charge that in trying to save Clarence Thomas's character, the White House was willing to destroy Anita Hill's, using the issue of race in the process.
If you watch the hearings, you watched how Anita Hill was attacked, but Judge Thomas coming in alleging that the Senate was being racist and that it was a lynch mob mentality.
White House aides deny any unfair attack, they're readily conceding that they worked closely with Republicans to cast doubt on Anita Hill's credibility. Publicly, Mr. Bush has stayed at arm's length from anything resembling an attack on a woman's character. But as if to remind everyone of Judge Thomas's charge of racism, the president did today casually bring up race.
I am very pleased with the way the support all across the country is holding strong for Judge Thomas. It's important to note that among Afro-Americans, Black Americans, that the support is very, very strong.
The spin from the vote counters tonight is that this whole campaign is working. The pitch to wavering Democrats, he's decent, she couldn't prove anything, and look at those polls. Dan?
Susan, what about the reports that the president himself organized and ordered the go-after-her strategy?
Well, you have to remember, Dan, that George Bush wants Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court very badly. He's put his prestige on the line. He has repeatedly said that Clarence Thomas is the best person to be on the Supreme Court. There's not, I think, any hard evidence that he personally micromanaged this strategy, but the White House was clearly willing to play hardball on this.
And win it. Thanks, Susan Spencer. Susan, the latest CBS News New York Times poll out tonight indicates the vast majority of Americans watched at least some of the hearings this weekend. Whether they watched or not, the poll taken last night found more than twice as many people believing Clarence Thomas as Anita Hill. More about America's reaction from Jerry Bowen.
It was hot off the presses in San Francisco this morning, served up with coffee on the Seattle waterfront. The controversy with more questions than answers, the conflict that challenges common sense at every turn. The windburned fisherman who believes the professor.
When a woman at her age gets out in front of the public and gives herself up like that, that man is guilty, I mean, as far as I'm concerned.
The sex harassment victim who trusts the judge.
This didn't seem to me like she was telling the truth. just from watching her.
In Salt Lake City, the longtime Mormon supporter of Utah Senator Orrin Hatch questioning his judgment.
Annoyed and concerned that he would allude to the idea that Anita Hill, as well as other people, are dreaming of fantasy and don't know reality from a myth or a dream.
In gritty up against the gang's Compton, California, at the only NAACP chapter in the nation to support Clarence Thomas, people still can't believe a black woman is his accuser.
I feel she has betrayed us 100%.
But on the essential question, more than twice as many respondents to a CBS News New York Times poll say they would likely believe Judge Thomas if they were forced to choose. And even if doubts remain about the charges after all is said and done, just over half those polled said Judge Thomas should get the benefit of the doubt, should be confirmed. In Hollywood today, where the Judge Thomas-Anita Hill story challenges any theatrical release, the question is about the system, the kind of government that airs its dirty laundry in prime time.
In fact, it's big stuff and still seems like the only country where it get hauled out and wrestled with.
And in Montana's Big Sky country, rancher Jim Almond wrestled with his thoughts, wondering if there isn't a better way.
If this is our democracy today, it needs a tremendous overhaul.
It is the American democracy. Tonight, as always, a work in progress. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, Anita Hill speaks up, says she's hurt but unshaken. And the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize is under arrest.
It started early this morning, that feeling that something was a little off. But by noon, her fever had started to climb. Her whole body ached. And now at 5:30, she's coughing, congested. Her head is pounding. Kate Porter has the flu. And now all she can think about is relief. Theraflu relief. Theraflu is serious flu medicine doctors recommend. Soothing, hot liquid relief to ease flu symptoms fast. Theraflu, your flu misery stops here.
To survive in today's world, you have to follow certain basics. You have to work, and you have to eat. And both play havoc with your stomach. That's why I take Malox. Malox is the strongest antacid there is. It works fast to stop the burning and churning in no time. And who knows more about stomach problems than Malox? You know, it's a funny thing. I started taking Malox because the doctor told me it was strongest. I keep on taking it because my stomach tells me it's fast.
Law professor Anita Hill is back home in Oklahoma tonight after her Senate testimony in Washington. She is not taking questions this evening, but a short time ago, she did make a statement. Bob McNamara was there.
Anita Hill's neighbors taped a welcome home to her garage door this morning. And back in Oklahoma, after an emotional, personal, and political ordeal, and polls saying more men and women believe Clarence Thomas than they do her by 2-1, Hill's arrival at a University of Oklahoma news conference had a campaign rally appearance.
Words simply cannot express the kind of anguish that I have experienced over the past several days.
Hill took no questions and said why she had to speak out.
It was suggested that I had fantasies, that I was a spurned woman, and that I had a martyr complex. I will not dignify those theories except to assure everyone that I am not imagining the conduct to which I testified.
Like Clarence Thomas, Hill said the hearings changed her.
I have been deeply hurt and offended by the nature of the attacks on my character. I had nothing to gain by subjecting myself to the process. In fact, I had more to gain by remaining silent. The personal attacks on me without an iota of evidence were particularly reprehensible.
Anita Hill wants her life to go back to being as normal as possible. But getting there depends on the Senate now and a long trip over time. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Oklahoma City.
Anyway, you look at it, the Senate Judiciary Committee hearings on Thomas were, well, extraordinary, riveting, unprecedented, and sometimes, as law correspondent Rita Braver reports, they were downright weird.
Ms. Myers, is it possible there's life in outer space?
It's possible.
That exchange between the Judiciary Committee chairman and a Clarence Thomas backer was final proof that the hearings had indeed drifted into the twilight zone, where one bizarre event followed another. Taboos were broken, beginning with Anita Hill's anguished, X-rated testimony.
he referred to the size of his own penis as being larger than normal, and he also spoke on some occasions of the pleasures he had given to women with oral sex.
Next, Clarence Thomas introduced the touchy topic of race, even though his accuser was a black woman.
That kind of language has been used about black men as long as I've been on the face of this earth. And these are charges that play into racist, bigoted stereotypes.
Things were so topsy-turvy that Hill's supporters, mostly liberals who usually hate lie detector tests, were bragging that she took and passed one.
Our concern had been to put this issue straight for Professor Hill.
It was conservatives who attacked the polygraph ploy.
Exactly what a two-bit slick lawyer would try to do in the middle of something as important as this.
And finally, here's what happened when a man who accused Anita Hill of fantasizing about relationships with men was asked about a charge that he himself had harassed another woman.
You confronted her in the hall, in front of an elevator, and kissed her on the mouth and told her that she would enjoy working with you very well.
I did not do any of the things that she alleged.
Excuse me, let me interrupt for a minute.
I'm pissed off.
And that, quite frankly, is the general response to one of the weirdest episodes in congressional history. Rita Braver, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Stay with us now for more CBS News, including an international lottery with America as its prize.
It is one thing to accelerate from a standing start, quite another at high speed. Infiniti designed the Q45 to do both. With a variable valve timing system so advanced, there is no compromise at any speed. Infiniti has, for the first time, blurred the lines between luxury and performance.
So I'm in the grocery store, and this really good-looking guy smiles at me and says,
Hi.
"Hi, Kellogg's Bran Flakes?"
Oh, well, these aren't mine. My folks are visiting.
He didn't have to be embarrassed. I love Kellogg's Bran Flakes. They have this nutty, toasted wheat taste that is really great. Anyway, I grab a box of Kellogg's Bran Flakes and say, "Gee, that's too bad. I was going to compliment your good taste."
The toasted taste of Kellogg's Bran Flakes.
They're not what you expect.
Everybody needs some.
$12 for every mile over the limit.
That's $300.
You can add fast, too. Next.
To send someone money fast, call 1-800-CALL-CASH or come to any Western Union location. Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
I don't want to marry him, Mom. Just date him. My head. He'll get a job. Where's my Anacin?
For splitting headaches, Anacin works better than regular Bayer or Bufferin. So take Anacin for splitting headaches.
You're going to love his earring.
For millions of foreigners who want to live in this country, this is a week of hope. Hope and confusion. The U.S. government is running a kind of lottery for permission to stay here. Mark Phillips has the story.
They played a high-stakes game of chance in a Northern Virginia parking lot last night, a kind of immigration roulette.
So mail your letters now and increase your odds that way.
Thousands of people mailing hundreds, even thousands of applications each, trying to pick the right bin, hoping that their letter would be among the first 40,000 to be processed at the Merrifield, Virginia post office after the 12:01 a.m. start time. The prize, a coveted green card providing legal resident status. Things got a bit tense.
But if you're going to create a riot in here, then I'll put you under arrest.
It's being called a lottery. Others call it a crapshoot. What it really is a race in which you can have as many runners as you can afford, in which timing is everything.
You put it in the right mailbox at the right time. It got to Merrifield at the right time. What you see here behind you is a winner.
To be a winner, you have to come from one of 34 countries, a rule designed, as proponents say, to even the score for all the recent immigration from Latin America and Asia. It also helps if you're Irish. In a controversial move, at least 16,000 green cards have been reserved for people from Ireland. People like Maura Philbin, who's emerged from the New York Irish underground and who now hopes she might finally be able to go home and visit her family and return legally.
It's just nerve-wracking coming through. I mean, you feel like a criminal. It's like, you know, what are you doing coming to America? Why are you going there? How long are you going to be there? I mean, you're given the third degree.
See, you've got a bag through. Can you tell me how many entries you're putting in here?
1 or 2.
So you mails your applications, and you takes your chance. So many personal futures in the indifferent hands of the machines of the post office. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Maryfield, Virginia.
A 2-day siege in a New York City suburb ended today. Police found a 47-year-old man dead in a Long Island house where he had holed up after allegedly killing his father and 3 neighbors in his own home nearby. The gunman apparently killed himself rather than surrender. Neighbors say he was mentally disturbed. One described him as a, quote, time bomb. In Miami today, 2 children were killed and 15 other people injured in a freak school bus accident. Police say a 250-pound tire came loose from a truck, bounced over a highway divider, and smashed through the windshield of the school bus. The bus was carrying 4th graders on a trip to a museum. Television evangelist Jimmy Swaggart has again been linked with a prostitute. Swaggart, who wept over another such incident 3 years ago, was stopped by California police over the weekend while driving on the wrong side of the road. In the car was a 31-year-old woman who said Swaggart had picked her up.
What did he ask for?
For sex. I mean, that's why he stopped me. That's what I do. I'm a prostitute. And he asked for sex.
Swaggart was charged with 3 traffic violations. His lawyer refused comment today on reports that Swaggart will retire from preaching. Coming up next, Eye on America, exploring an explorer. Hero or villain?
It's Sears' biggest hardware sale, and it's happening right now. Like this Craftsman 3.5 horsepower, 15-gallon compressor. Save $50. This Craftsman half horsepower garage door opener with 2 3-function transmitters. Only $149.99. And save $100 on this Craftsman 5 horsepower chipper shredder.
Shreds limbs and branches up to 3 inches in diameter. It's Sears' biggest hardware sale, and it's happening right now.
So hurry to Sears today.
You know, it's not something we talk about.
Then don't talk about it.
But when Raymond gets,
It's what?
you know, constipated,
What?
I give him Phillips Milk of Magnesia.
Put that away.
Phillips works overnight and immediately starts soothing the stomach acid Ray sometimes gets when he's feeling...
Oh, Maureen.
Well, it's true, honey.
Only Phillips relieves constipation overnight and soothes your upset stomach.
It can happen to anybody.
But you don't even know these people.
Norelco doesn't just shave you close, but incredibly close. Or merely shave you in comfort, but in exceptional comfort. Because the Norelco razor's patented lift and cut system lifts the hair, so when it's cut, it can actually drop below skin level without the blades even touching your face. And once you've shaved that incredibly close with exceptional comfort, you know you'll always be comfortable shaving with a Norelco. Norelco, we make close comfortable.
I'm Harry Smith.
And I'm Paula Zahn, the latest on the Thomas confirmation.
Plus surprising breakthroughs on cancer tomorrow. CBS This Morning.
2 American brothers are out of jail in Pakistan tonight and happy to be in one piece. An appeals court overturned the bank robbery convictions of Charles and Daniel Boyd and lifted their sentences. Amputation of a hand and a foot. The 1991 Nobel Peace Prize is going to the leader of the democratic movement in Burma. She's been under house arrest for more than 2 years, and her husband says he doesn't even know if she's alive. Bill Whitaker has the story.
To the people of Burma, Aung San Suu Kyi is a symbol of hope, a 46-year-old mother of 2 who stood up to Burma's murderous military regime and demanded democracy. Today, the Nobel Committee called her a symbol for the world.
Suu Kyi's struggle is one of the most extraordinary examples of civil courage in Asia in recent decades.
She was a reluctant leader who felt compelled to speak out when Burma's 1988 pro-democracy movement was crushed by the military. Thousands were killed. The ruling generals, threatened by her courage and charisma, charged her with subversion and placed her under house arrest. But even locked away, she inspired a sweeping defeat of the military in last year's elections. Her victorious opposition party danced in the streets then, but now 2,000 government opponents have been jailed by the generals who refuse to relinquish power.
The joy and pride which I and our children feel at this moment is marked by sadness and by continuing apprehension.
But exiled opposition leaders say the Nobel Prize breathes new life into the movement.
Winning of her Nobel Peace Prize will definitely quicken this process of getting our democracy and freedom.
Aung San Suu Kyi probably won't be able to go to Oslo to pick up her prize, but the generals who had hoped to silence her seem only to have assured that her message is heard around the world. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Tokyo.
If you're looking to maintain regularity, look here. There's a drug-free way to do it, and Kellogg's All-Bran can be an important part, because a high-fiber diet, including Kellogg's All-Bran, can give you the fiber you need for drug-free regularity. See the recipe on the box for another way to enjoy Kellogg's All-Bran. All-Bran muffins. All that fiber, all that great taste.
Luxurious new Chrysler LeBaron series starting at under $14,000. The perfect balance between self-indulgence and common sense.
Now choose 770 powertrain or 336 bumper-to-bumper protection.
Finally, after nearly a century, we came up with a formula with more pain relievers than Ben Gay. And it's on its way to stores right now from Ben Gay. New ultra-strength Ben Gay, the strongest Ben Gay ever.
You know, there's nothing square about prunes. These Sunsweet pitted prunes are not only irresistibly sweet and bursting with flavor, they're also perfectly round. Only one prune tastes Sunsweet.
Today, Tex-Rich Shoe Corporation announced a major retail expansion in 25 U.S. cities.
When I see a company that looks like a good investment, I check it out myself.
We make it easier to follow your own lead.
At Charles Schwab, I can get quotes, financial news, and when I make a trade, commission savings.
Always there to give you just the help you need.
Help yourself at Schwab today.
The Columbus Day Parade in New York City, one of many around the country in honor of Christopher Columbus. In tonight's Eye on America, we're going to take a closer look at the most famous of the explorers. Nearly 500 years after he came to the New World, what do we really know about him? Bruce Morton reports on America, Discovering Columbus.
We don't know what he looked like. All the portraits are by painters who never saw him.
He was a deep, troubled man. He didn't tell the truth to himself or to his followers.
He came seeking gold and never did know where he was or what he'd found.
He thought he had found India, so he named the people Indians. Says, don't go away, I'll be right back. And unfortunately for the Indians, he kept his promise.
100 years ago, a lot of Americans learned about Columbus from McGuffey's Reader, where Washington Irving wrote that Columbus tried to civilize the natives, build cities, introduce the useful arts. You just don't hear that point of view much anymore.
Is Columbus a hero or a villain? And the answer is both. I think I was both.
Joseph Laufer is a professional speaker and an amateur historian who plays and lectures about Columbus in schools, this day in West Deptford, New Jersey. He stresses Columbus's exploitation of the natives he found.
Plop the old flag right in the beach, and all of a sudden I have just taken their land away from them. What do you think? Do I get an Academy Award for that? Are you going to give me an honor? No. That wasn't right, was it? No. I'm sorry about that.
Laufer talks about the spread of disease. So does the Smithsonian Institution's exhibit, Seeds of Change.
It wasn't Columbus himself, but all the Europeans who came after him. They brought with them, and with their animals, diseases that had never been in these areas before.
Smallpox, measles, and other...
An electronic display charts the spread of killing diseases north and south. Millions of Native Americans died.
The Columbian legacy I regard as largely a sad, pitiful tragedy.
We are on the eve of beginning...
In Mayor Dana Reinhardt's Columbus, Ohio, they're celebrating the idea of discovery. They have a statue, a life-size Santa Maria, but they have some second thoughts, too.
I wish I just could keep remembering him the way he was, you know, discovered America and didn't necessarily have to know everything.
Hey, you're savages. We want to show you what it's like to be civilized.
Second thoughts in New Jersey as well.
I didn't like the part when he took over the lands with the Indians. And he was really greedy, so I think he was mostly bad. He wasn't the one that really discovered America.
Who did, do you think?
The Indians and the Vikings, probably. And maybe even before that, the cavemen.
Disease and slavery followed Columbus, but so did other things. Thousands, then millions of people seeking new lives, seeking hope and promise.
Two old worlds met, and a new world was recreated as a result of it. That's why this Columbus story, in my opinion, is a global story and not old world versus new world.
Immigrants came from Europe, but also from Asia, from all over the world. And the United States keeps changing. More Hispanics, more Asians, a new emphasis in classrooms on teaching all the cultures which make up America, not just the European. Sometime in the next century, what we now call minorities will be the majority in an America which keeps on changing.
Hey, everything I did wasn't all that bad. I helped create this great land. I started something, and it's great.
He never knew what he'd found, could never have imagined what it would become. Bruce Morton, CBS News, West Deptford, New Jersey.
Trying to figure out Columbus, part of our world tonight. Looking ahead to the final hours of trying to figure out the Thomas confirmation battle, Senate debate begins tomorrow morning at 10 Eastern Time. CBS News will bring you any major developments during the day. Then we'll have live coverage of the Senate vote now scheduled for tomorrow evening at 6 Eastern Time. After that vote, an hour-long CBS News special, an in-depth special on the Thomas decision. That will be at 8 o'clock, 7 tomorrow night on CBS. Dan Rather for the CBS Evening News. See you tomorrow. Good night.
You know what else we should celebrate? The survival of African Americans who were brought over here originally as slaves and who were really given a tough job, and how they've survived to become great in this great land of ours. 1992 is a new beginning. That's why I say let's celebrate 1992 as a new beginning of America.
The people of CBS News. Dan Rather.
Connie Chung.
Mike Wallace.
Paul Azan.
Ed Bradley.
Leslie Stahl.
Harry Smith.
And Charles Kuralt. Experience.
CBS News.
This is CBS.
Rocky, your last meal's here. Domino's? I wanted a special order.
Fine. And what do you want on your tombstone?
Cheese and pepperoni.
Good. Tombstone special order.
Now there's a new Tombstone pizza called Special Order. Our pepperoni pizza has 50% more toppings than Domino's and a taste that's something special. So what do you want on your Tombstone? Special Order pizza.
Rocky, it's the governor. Take a message.
For today's homeowners, remodeling makes sense. And at the Home Improvement and Remodeling Show, you'll find over 3.5 acres of exhibits that make sense for your home. From the 400 square foot national award-winning Dream Bath to your own personalized